It's your girl Retta, aka Retta Loke, aka Retta Baby, aka iRettaRetta, and I'm back with another video. Today's video, I thought I could. Sorry, I got hair in my mouth. I thought I would share with you guys a little bit of my background, my sickle cell background. Many of you know, or people that know me, I have sickle cell anemia. For the ones that don't know me, the people that do know me, like my family and friends, you guys know what I've been dealing with sickle cell and my history. But not everybody knows. So I decided today that I will share with you guys a little bit of my story. So I'm in the hospital right now, as you guys can see. I know I look crazy, so excuse how I look. Hair needs to be done, nails need to be done. Like, girl, I'm out here bad, sis, bad. But yeah, so we're just gonna get right into it. First, let me start off with telling you guys what sickle cell anemia is. So sickle cell anemia is a blood disorder. It's predominantly found in Black people, African American people. It's a predominantly Black disease. You mostly gonna find it in Black people. There are a few very rare cases of other races having it, but majority, about 99.9% of the people that have sickle cell anemia is Black. It's a blood disorder. It's hereditary. The only way you can get it is by if you're born with it. And the way you are born with it is if either both of your parents either have to have the trait or the disease, or one has to have the trait and one has to have the disease. Like I said, it's a blood disorder. It mainly attacks your red blood cells. My red blood cells and other people with sickle cell anemia, red blood cells are shaped like a C, sickle. And everybody else's red blood cells, people who don't have sickle cell anemia or the trait, there's two types of sickle cell anemia. There's SC, which is the trait, and there's SS, which is the full-blown disease. I have SS. Both of my parents have the trait, and it runs in my family. So I have a niece that has sickle cell anemia. I have a cousin that has sickle cell anemia. I think I have another cousin that has sickle cell anemia. But yeah, it mostly attacks your red blood cells. So my red blood cells are shaped like a C, a sickle, or a crescent moon. And people who don't have sickle cell anemia or the trait, your red blood cells are shaped like a circle, a perfect disc, the way it's supposed to. When somebody with sickle cell anemia, while your red blood cells are, flowing through your body, because they are not in the perfect form, they lack oxygen. The sickle cells lack oxygen, and they can clump together in your veins. But where was I? I didn't knock myself off my own train of thought. So with your red blood cells shaped like a C, a crescent moon, they lack oxygen and they can get clumped together. Not all of our red blood cells are sickles. Some of them are regular red blood cells. But the red blood cells that are sickles, when they clump together, it can cause your body to go into extreme pain. Like, think of the worst pain, the worst type of body pain you can think of, times 10. It mostly attacks our joints and our bones. And with me personally, my crisis always start off in my back, and then it proceeds to travel through my body. A crisis can start, and a crisis is when your red blood cells are come together and your body's in pain and your red blood cell count is low, they call that a sickle cell crisis. While you're in a crisis, you can have really extreme pain. I have like a sharp pain shooting up my legs, and it'd be like sharp and throbbing. That's the worst. I hate when I have that. It be in my back sometimes like that too. But with sickle cell, like, you can have a crisis anywhere. It can start off in your head. It can start off in your fingers. The way they treat sickle cell is by fluids and pain medicine, and if needed, blood transfusions. Somebody with sickle cell know what I mean when I say, when that pain hits, baby, you be calling on the Lord, on Mary, Joseph, Abraham, Shadrach, Meshach, and the Abednego. You be calling on all of that. That pain is not something you want to play with. It's not. Sickle cell is not a disease you take lightly. I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a background with what sickle cell is. And oh my God, I got a gray hair. What? I'm 26 with a gray hair. That is crazy. See, kids, this is why you don't stress. 26 with gray hair, Lord have mercy. Get out. I just wanted to give y'all a little bit of rundown. If you want to know more, like, in depth about, meaning like the medical part of it, you can always look it up online. When you type in sickle cell anemia, it'll pop up. Now that I gave you guys a little background on what it is medical wise. Did I say it's a blood disorder? I think I did say it was a blood disorder. I hate when my hair does that. I think I covered all the bases medical wise. I just wanted to give y'all a quick little need to know. I'm gonna tell you guys my experiences and how it has affected my life. In the beginning, so I want to say when, like I said, I was born with it, but back then, I was born in 94, and back then, detect sickle cell in black people until you was like 7 months. But that was in the 90s and the late 80s. Like, before that, before they really understood what sickle cell was and really tried to help black people with, with the disease and all that stuff, the age where it was easy to detect is 7 months. They didn't have the knowledge or the resources or, nothing. They didn't have all the resources and stuff they have now. They didn't have back in the day. So people didn't live that long with sickle cell back then. But thank God that they have advanced, and they actually, there's some people out there that actually care about black people enough to research and see what they can do for sickle cell and how they can help black people. Even though I honestly feel like they can do a better job when it comes to helping us with sickle cell and finding a solution. Like, sickle cell is not a joke. Like, it's not something you take lightly. So now we have got the background out the way. Let's head into my story. When I was about 7 months old, not about, when I was 7 months old, I went into my first crisis. And at the time, my mother said she didn't know that I was in a crisis. She just said I kept whining, and she said I just wouldn't stop. Oh, she took me to the emergency room, and she said, this was Good Sam emergency room, by the way, and it had been maybe an hour and a half had went by, and I still hadn't gotten seen. And she said I started to, like, the crying started to settle down at this point. And she said she thought that, okay, maybe she getting sleepy, maybe she trying to feel better than. So she said she looked down at me, and my face was turning blue. So she ran to the desk, telling my daughter's face to turn blue. She's not breathing. So they rushed me to Phoenix Children's. Get to Phoenix Children's, and right then and there, doctor came in there and he was like, we're going to transfuse your daughter in a sickle cell crisis right now, and she needs a transfusion. I didn't deal with so many doctors in my life. Every time I was in a hospital, or I had to go to the hospital, I went to a crisis, I was just down and out. But once I got them blood transfusions, I was up and at it. My mama used to call it monkey blood because she said I would, right after the blood transfusion, a few hours later, I'm up and jumping around like a little monkey. That was the first time I had a crisis, and that's when she found out I had sickle cell anemia. And from that point on, I spent majority of my life in and out the hospital. I ain't gonna say majority. I spent all of my life in and out the hospital. Like 26 years old and still going in and out the hospital. I still don't like, I still wish I didn't have sickle cell. Like I said, God don't make no mistakes. As I get older and as I go through more things, I realize He gave me this sickness for a reason. And as a child, it's crazy because as a child, I didn't have a horrible childhood, but I wasn't able to do nothing, honestly. Like I said, I was in and out the hospital majority of the time, but when I wasn't out the hospital, I had friends and stuff at school, but I really didn't get to go nowhere. I didn't get to do nothing because my mom fear was always, if I'm going to a crisis, she wants to be right there. She was my main caregiver. She was the person that spent many of nights in the hospital with me. From the time I was 7 months all the way up until I was 18, every time I looked over there to my left, she was over there. They used to have the bed for the parents. She was over there. You have a majority of your life having to spend it in a hospital bed, dealing with all types of doctors and nurses. When it comes to me not being able to have a normal childhood, and like I said, my childhood wasn't terrible, but when I say normal childhood, all my friends got to play sports and go to school events and go to school dances. I think I went to one school dance in my whole entire life. Yeah, I remember that school dance because that's when the wobble and the heel toe was popping. I remember this girl named Alexandria. She thought she was the best dancer or whatever. Nope. I got on that dance floor and I shut it down. Baby, I remember that. I remember that freaking dance. Oh my gosh. I remember it so well because that's the first time I got to dance with my middle school crush. His name was Jerry. Ooh, that was a fine white boy. That's what I mean by normal childhood. Anybody that knows me knows I love basketball, and I wanted to play ball so bad. And I remember when I finally got the chance to play club ball, and I was so excited. And the first game we got out there, we playing, running over down the court. My mom asked me if I was like, "You okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm okay." I was tired, then eating, but I was having fun. I was having fun. But I remember I was going up for a layup or something like that, and this big girl just boom rushed the heck out of me, and I fell awkwardly. My mom was like, "Oh no, nope." She never let me play sports again. Never. But anyways, sickle cell. I'm not even gonna say. I'm not gonna blame sickle cell. I'm not gonna blame sickle cell because I don't believe God gave me this disease to allow me to be alone for the rest of my life. But me being in and out the hospital affected like my personal life as I got older. When it came to dating and dealing with guys and stuff, y'all, the most. Dudes used to do the most. Like, life in middle school, I mean, it wasn't. I was just still in and out of the hospital. But I could say this, me being in and out the hospital did not hinder me from my work, my schoolwork, me learning. Like, from the time I was in kindergarten to now, like, I've always been smart as heck. And, sorry, I'm in so much pain right now. It brought challenges, but I say more so challenges as I got older. You know, I've only ever been in ICU once. All I remember is them trying to wake me up. And then when I finally woke up, it was like a nurse in front of the bed, two nurses on this side, two nurses on that side, and a nurse on top of me pumping like oxygen into me. I just remember waking up again. All of my family was around, and I was like, so many people. And then they all started laughing for some reason, and I went back to sleep. Now we're gonna enter into high school, where the real challenges begin in my life. Me being so much in and out the hospital, and the high school I was going to at the time, whack ass South Point. I'm still mad at my mom for making me go there. I hated that school. Ugh, I could not stand Mr. Mozzie. Not Mr. I couldn't stand Mozzie, but I liked Mozzie better than Mr. McGill. Like, Mr. McGill, I just wanted to slap him in the back of his freaking bald head. Like, and then Mr. O'Donnell. If you went to South Point, you know, y'all know what I'm talking about. Mr. O'Donnell, flat booty self, stanky breath. That man breath used to stink. I don't know if I'm the only one that know, because I'm people used to talk stuff to him all the time. Like, if he would be in their face yelling, like, dang, bro, your breath stink, move. That's a 0-150. A 0-150. Like, okay. Like, he gave 0-150s out like it was fucking candy. Like, when he gave us a 0-150, be like, okay. And 0-150 what? 0-150 these nuts. Nah. Like I said, I eventually had to do homeschool, because once you miss, I think, what was it, 5 days, that's an automatic F. I was in the hospital roughly for about 2 weeks, the average. But yeah, so academically, I never really had challenges when it came to my sickle. It was more so personal challenges. Like I said, I didn't really get to do, but personal wise, like I said, I was always in and out the hospital. I didn't go to prom. I didn't go to homecoming. I didn't go to none of our, well, first of all, our football and basketball team was whack as fuck, so I didn't even want to go to their games, no way. As I got older and I had my first kiss in 3rd grade. I had my first boyfriend in 3rd grade. Shout out to Fred. We was not doing nothing. We were kids, okay? All we did was kiss twice. I guess I'll start at senior year, when I really started to talk to guys and stuff. Not even senior, when I got out of school, actually, because that's when I really started to, I had little boyfriends throughout school, but that wasn't shit. Called myself dating this white boy named Ben in 8th grade. That was a disaster, not because me and him didn't work, it was because his friends were racist. And they used to say racist stuff to me all the time. Honestly, like, once we got out of school, once school ended, I didn't really like him that much no more. So I just broke up with him. Ladies, if it ain't working, it just ain't working. Per. So yeah, I didn't talk to nobody in high school. Honestly, I didn't talk to nobody in high school because I had the biggest crush on this one boy. Now, he is well known, and I would not say his name. I almost said his name. That was my little baby. So I didn't really want to talk to nobody in high school. I talked to other guys. Like, I used to date, while I call myself dating this one guy. I'll say 2 guys in high school. That shit didn't work. I don't count those as relationships. I never really had a real relationship. Like, guys, like, I used to be terrified to tell dudes about my sickness. Like, one of my boyfriends broke up with me in the hospital. I was in the hospital. And then he tried to turn all my friends against me. He gonna break up with me and then tell me he was dating my best friend. And then, but at the same time telling my best friend at the time that I wanted to fight her. So I come to school all happy to see my friends, and they was mugging me. But I didn't know what was going on, so I'm just like, I'm gonna just keep smiling because she mad at something. She just come out of nowhere. It was like, you want to fight me? No. She's like, well, so-and-so said you wanted to fight me. I want to like, well, so-and-so said that y'all dating. She was like, what? Ew. Like, it just clicked right then and there. Then we went to PE. And while we was running our laps, or walking our laps, she was telling me what he was saying to her. And I told her what he told me. And he tried to tell my other friend I was trying to take her boyfriend away from him, which was Fred. That was 3rd grade. I dated Fred in 3rd grade. And that wasn't no damn relationship. All we did was kiss twice. Like, but when he saw us at lunch and saw that I still had my friends, he was like, oh shit. Yeah, nigga, oh shoot. I couldn't understand what I did to him for him to do me like that. And like, I'm sick in the hospital. And while I'm sick in the hospital, you trying to turn my friends against me, and also you was cheating on me. You better be lucky I didn't get my nephew to beat your ass. Or my brother. Or my cousin. Shoot. Child. It was a mess. Once I really started dating, like I said, I was terrified of telling dudes, like, about my health. When I would tell guys about my health and what's going on and woo, a lot of them would stop talking to me. But then I came to the realization, like, if a dude don't love me for me, then he ain't for me. So I stopped waiting to tell them, because so many times dudes would just stop talking to me. So I got tired of that, and then I eventually started waiting until like me and the dude really start liking each other, and I would tell them about my health. They'll put on the front street like, oh, I'm here for you. Next day, don't ever hear from them. It's like, dang. And then it got to a point where I was like, you know what? Like I said, somebody gonna love me for me. This is something I gotta live with for the rest of my life. Something I could potentially die from. excuse me, something I could potentially die from if I don't take care of myself. I remember one time when I was in high school, I was at my best friend's house. And the type of person I am, I'm a cool ass person. Like, I treat everybody with respect till you give me a reason not to. I treat people how I want to be treated. So I caught myself talking to this guy in high school that I used to hang around, my best friend's cousin. One day, you know, them and other guys who I thought were my friends, me and my friends had walked to the store, and I ended up leaving my purse in the garage. I don't know why I did that, but I did. But now that I look at it, I thank God, because I really like that guy. So he showed me, like, no, he ain't for you. Long story short, my pain pills were stolen out of my purse. And it was crazy because my best friend was like, he was telling me to check my purse when we got back. And I'm like, nah, I'll check it later. But now when I think back on it, I should have known, because when we were in the garage when he was saying that, and they was sitting in the corner and they was all looking at each other like, but baby, when I did check my purse the next morning, I called. I'm like, bruh, they stole my bills. It was a big mess. Big mess. When I told Zamante, who was my best friend, I told him about it. He's like, see, I told you to check your purse. And woo, 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 woo. He told his cousin. And his cousin ended up telling my cousin. My cousin called me literally like 5 seconds later. Who the fuck took your bills? He's like, all right. And I told him what happened. It's like, all right, bet. What my cousin did after, when he saw them, I did not feel bad about that. And the other two avoided me for the longest, because we all went to the same school. Except for the one that stole my pills. He went to a different school. When they would see me, they'll like turn their head. Because what happened was, when my cousin had got whipped of it, he like, I'm beating all of their asses on sight. Period. Nobody was telling who actually did what. I'm like, now if y'all was to be like, look, we don't want to be involved, but this is what happened, woo woo woo, my cousin probably would have never came at y'all sideways. My cousin did exactly what he said he was going to do. At the time, me and my best friend lived across the street from each other. So I had went and got my other cousins. We was on our way over there. Then I get a phone call. Zamante and Janae cussing me out. And I'm like, what y'all cussing me out for? Y'all cousin just ruined our party. And woo. They mad at me because my cousin did exactly what he said he was going to do. But yeah, one thing led to another. You know, they stopped it before it went any farther, but they were mad because Zamante's mom made all of his friends go home. Still to this day, me and Zamante argue about that. He like, well, you should have checked your purse. I'm like, well, they shouldn't have took my pills, period. I don't care. My cousin did what he was supposed to do. He had my back, period. Little shit like that. So, I stopped waiting to tell dudes about my sickle cell. And a lot of the dudes would be like, dang, that's crazy. I didn't even know you had it. You don't look like you have sickle cell. About my experience when it comes to guys breaking on me in the hospital, cheating on me, like just mistreating me when I'm sick, when I'm at my lowest. And they'll always be like, I'll never do that to you. I'll never do that to you. And guess what they did? Turn around and do the exact same thing. Like, I remember this one dude I used to talk to named DeAndre. I liked him. Ooh, I liked him. His little yellow self. He had some pretty lips, some pretty eyes. Like, ooh, that was just my baby. I always be like, every time I got sick, he always be like, I'm gonna come visit you. I'm gonna come visit you. Eventually, probably about like the third, fourth time I was in the hospital, and he was like, I'm gonna come visit. I'm like, DeAndre, cut the bullshit. You ain't never came and visit me before. Y'all wanna know what his excuse was? Well, my mom was sick in the hospital before, and I just don't like hospitals. If you knew you did not like hospitals, why would you promise to me that you would come and see me? And he even said, even though I don't like hospitals, I'll come see you. I promise I'm gonna come see you. That made it even worse. You over here saying, even though you don't like hospitals, you promise you gonna come see me, but never came and saw me. And there was a lot of broken promises from guys. Like, they just promises, telling me lies. How she said it in 3 that was just fucking promises. Like, just a bunch of broken promises from guy after guy after guy after guy. So eventually I got to a point in my life where when I'm talking to a guy, it depends on how the vibe is going. Like, it depends. I'll tell them first time we talk, or I won't tell them about me being sick in the hospital until I'm actually sick in the hospital. We grown. What you need to lie for? Don't tell me you gonna come and you don't never come. So I will always tell dudes that, like, they be like, oh, I'm gonna come see y'all. Yeah, okay. I believe you when you actually come. I can count on one hand how many dudes I talked to or was dating that actually followed through on their word and came and saw me. Like, literally, I can count on one hand. But I always get, oh, baby girl, I'm sorry. Oh, I wish I could do this. Blah, 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 blah. Just broken promises. Like, I don't want to hear all that. I'm not no little girl. Like, don't lie to me. Don't tell me, oh, you care about me because it sounds good. No. That's why I don't believe shit people say now. I believe actions. Because even a fake nigga can say some real shit. Words don't mean nothing to me if your actions don't back them up. And that's just what it is. So when it comes to sickle cell, having sickle cell and dating, you know, or somebody asks, oh, are you single? And I'm like, yeah. You know, I get the general response, oh, you must be crazy, or, you know, something stupid like that. But I don't take my health lightly. So I'm not about to be dealing with a guy that don't take my health as serious as I do. Sickle cell is serious. I could die from this. If I do not take care of myself, I can die from it. I'm already at a high rate of organ failure than normal people. And it doesn't help with getting all these blood transfusions and then end up getting iron overload. And, you know, your liver is the only organ that can repair itself. But if it gets too damaged, the next thing is a liver transplant. But there's been people that have been waiting on liver transplants for years. So the only way you can jump to the top of the list is you in critical condition. So it's not something to take lightly. And I'm not about to be dating a guy that don't take it as serious as I do. I don't like taking medicine. I really don't. Like, when I gotta take like 10 different pills, it just makes me sick to my stomach. Like, I literally, like, gag. I don't like it. I don't. So I'm trying to find more natural ways to take care of my body. Definitely drink more water. And when it comes to my iron overload, you know, I've looked up holistic ways to remove the iron. And so I take my health serious. I wanna get married, and I wanna have kids, and I wanna be able to be there for my kids. I don't want to be in and out the hospital. When it comes to me getting married and having kids, that goes back to dating. I don't want to deal with somebody that don't take my sickness serious. Like, even if, God forbid, I have a baby by somebody, I have a baby out of wedlock, which is something I do not want to do. I don't want to have kids till I'm married. And the man I marry, that's going to be my soulmate. That's going to be who God specifically made for me. If I get sick and have to go into a hospital for a week or so, I know he going to hold the kids down. I know he going to hold the household down and the kids down while I'm gone. Marriage is not something I take lightly either. That's a lifetime commitment. You taking a vow up under God. You don't play with God. You don't play with God when it comes to promises and stuff. No. You promise to love and honor your mate in sickness and in health, richer, poor. Like you're making all these promises and these commitments up under God. And then when people start mistreating their marriage or disobeying their vows and their commitments that they took up under God, then they want to wonder why their relationships are just full of hell. They're not really. Their marriages are just full of hell. Like, no, I'm not dealing with that. I'm not, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not about to have no kids. God forbid if I don't get married first and I have a baby out of wedlock. I don't want to have a child with somebody that ain't gonna be there for my child. That responsibility of that child is nobody but mine and the man I laid down with and had the child with. I'm not looking, when I get sick in the hospital, I'm not looking for my family members to take care of my child. No, I'm looking to his father to take care of him or her, whether we together or not.